Hi, I'm Louie. Not that you'd know it from looking at me right now. Threadbare jeans, faded t-shirt, and a beat-up Honda. Pretty far cry from the Armani suits and Mercedes I'm used to. You seriously going through with this? My CFO, Marcus, leaned against my office door. This whole Prince and the Pauper routine is bizarre. How else am I supposed to find someone who likes me for me and not my money? I ran a hand through my deliberately messy hair. Dating as the CEO of Vitara Tech has been a nightmare. The second anyone realizes who I am, they're auditioning for a role. So download a dating app like everyone else. Says the guy whose wife knew him when he was broke in college, I shot back. I'm taking 2 weeks off. As far as anyone knows, I'm in Singapore. And what exactly is your plan? I've got a temporary job at Java Jolt downtown, rented a studio apartment in West Side. Completely normal, average guy stuff. This is insane, Marcus said. What about Vanessa? She seemed great. My smile faded. Vanessa was researching my net worth before our second date. I saw her search history when she left her phone on the table. Fine, but why the coffee shop? Because I want someone who doesn't care about status at all. I worked at a cafe through college. It's the perfect cover. I was halfway out the door when Marcus called out, "Just be careful, Lou. People aren't always what they seem." If only I'd listened more carefully to those words. 3 days into my experiment, I was wiping tables when she walked in. Medium height, chestnut hair, warm brown eyes that crinkled when she smiled. "Hi there," she said. "Could I get a caramel macchiato, please?" "Coming right up. Name for the order?" "Emma. Are you new here? I come in most mornings and haven't seen you before." "Started this week. I'm Louie." "Nice to meet you, Louie," Emma said. Her smile seemed genuine, not calculating. While I made her drink, we chatted. She was a kindergarten teacher at the elementary school nearby. No flashy jewelry or designer clothes. "Here you go," I said, handing her the macchiato. "Thanks." Our fingers brushed. "See you tomorrow, Louie." She became a regular. After a week, I finally worked up the courage. "I get off at 4 today," I said. "There's a food truck festival in the park. Would you want to check it out? As friends?" I added hastily. Emma tilted her head. "I'd like that." That evening, walking through the park, Emma told me about her students while we shared street tacos. "So what's your story, Louie?" she asked. "Coffee shop seems like a transition job." I stuck to my cover story. "Just moved to the city, taking some time to figure things out." "No judgment here," she said. "I spent a year after college working at a bookstore before getting my teaching certification." Emma didn't ask about my income or future plans. Instead, we talked about books, movies, and our shared love of Thai food. 2 more dates followed. I was falling for her genuineness, her passion for teaching, her lack of pretension. When she invited me to her apartment for dinner, I accepted immediately. That's when everything changed. "Louie, you made it." Emma greeted me with a quick kiss. "Come in, I want you to meet my roommate." I stepped inside and my blood ran cold. "This is Meredith," Emma said, gesturing to a tall blonde whose eyes widened in recognition. "Nice to meet you," Meredith said smoothly, but I could see the calculation behind her smile. She knew exactly who I was. "So Louie," Meredith's voice dripped with sweetness at dinner. "Emma tells me you work at Java Jolt. Interesting career choice. It pays the bills." "And what did you do before that?" she pressed. "This and that," I replied vaguely. "Emma, this sauce is amazing." Emma beamed. "Family recipe. My grandmother was Italian." "Louis seems very mysterious about his past," Meredith commented. "Don't you think, Emma?" "I think everyone's entitled to privacy," Emma replied, giving her roommate a pointed look. Meredith excused herself to take a call in her bedroom. "Sorry about that," Emma said once we were alone. "Meredith can be intense sometimes." "No worries. How long have you been roommates?" "About 2 years. We met through a mutual friend. She's going through a rough patch. Just broke up with her boyfriend and lost her job in the same week. After dinner, I left early, mind racing. Outside, I called Marcus. "I need you to look into someone for me," I said. "Meredith Larson, roommate of a woman I'm seeing." "So the experiment is working?" "Maybe too well. This Meredith recognized me. I'm sure of it." The next morning, Emma came into Java Jolt looking troubled. "Everything okay?" I asked as I prepared her usual order. "Meredith was asking a lot of questions about you after you left," she admitted. "She seemed really interested in your background." "What did you tell her?" "That it wasn't her business," Emma replied firmly. "I like you, Louie. I don't care what you did before or how much money you make." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. "Call me ASAP." During my break, I called him from the alley. "What did you find?" Meredith Larson was fired from Blackridge Investments 3 weeks ago, he said. She was an executive assistant to Richard Blackridge. My stomach dropped. Richard Blackridge was one of my biggest rivals. There's more, Marcus continued. She's been friends with Emma for years. There are photos of them with Richard at corporate events going back 2 years. Are you saying Emma works for Blackridge too? Not officially, but they're connected. This doesn't look good, Lou. Back inside, I watched Emma through new eyes as she graded papers. She looked up and smiled warmly, but now I questioned everything. That afternoon, my coworker nudged me. Some guy's been asking questions about you. What kind of questions? When you started, where you're from. Said he was an old friend. What did he look like? Tall, dark hair, expensive watch, tried to slip me money for info. It had to be someone from Blackridge. The trap was closing in. After my shift, I texted Emma. Can we talk? Meet me at Riverside Park at 6? At the park, Emma was waiting on a bench. Louie, what's going on? She asked as I approached. You seem stressed? Tell me something, Emma. How well do you know Richard Blackridge? Her expression shifted, surprise, then something unreadable. What? Richard Blackridge, CEO of Blackridge Investments, the man you and Meredith have been photographed with multiple times. How did you? She stopped herself. You've been investigating me? Answer the question. Emma's shoulders slumped. He's Meredith's ex. They dated for about a year. And you? He offered to donate technology to my school. We met at fundraisers. She looked at me directly. What is this about, Louis? Or should I call you Louis Vitara? It was my turn to be shocked. How long have you known? Since last night. After you left, Meredith showed me your picture online. Her eyes flashed with hurt. You lied to me about everything. I lied about my job and finances, I acknowledged. You lied about your connection to my biggest competitor. I didn't lie, Emma's voice rose. Richard is Meredith's ex, not mine, and I had no idea who you were until yesterday. So it's coincidence that you started coming to Java Jolt right after I began working there? I've been going to that coffee shop for 2 years. Ask anyone who works there. Emma stood up. I didn't target you. You targeted me with this fake identity. What happened after Meredith recognized me? Plan how to use the situation? Is that what you think of me? Emma's voice cracked. That I'm some corporate spy? What am I supposed to think? Your roommate worked for Blackridge. You both know Richard. And suddenly you're interested in a supposedly broke barista who happens to be the CEO of Vitara Tech? I was interested in you because you were kind and listened when I talked about my students. She looked so genuine that for a moment I wavered. If you're innocent, why didn't Meredith tell you who I was immediately? Because she was making calls, confirming it was really you. And what did she say when she told you? Emma hesitated. She said I'd hit the jackpot, that dating a tech CEO could solve all our financial problems. And what did you say to that? I told her that wasn't why I was seeing you, and I didn't appreciate her reducing you to your net worth. I also said I wasn't sure I wanted to continue dating someone who'd been lying to me. Convenient answer. It's the truth. Emma threw up her hands. Do you really think I engineered meeting you? My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Found something big. Call now. I need to take this, I said, stepping away. Marcus answered immediately. Meredith was fired for attempting to access files on Blackridge's server, files about your company. Richard caught her and let her go. So she was spying for us? I asked, confused. No, I think she was gathering intel to sell. After she was fired, she contacted 3 of your competitors. Has she approached anyone at Vitara? Not that we can tell, but she's researching your executive team extensively online. What about Emma Parker? Any suspicious activity? Nothing business-related. Her social media is mostly about her students. If she's involved, she's very good at hiding it. After ending the call, I returned to Emma. That was my CFO. He's been investigating Meredith. You had someone investigate my roommate? Emma looked appalled. For good reason. She was fired from Blackridge for accessing confidential information about my company. Since then, she's contacted multiple tech firms, likely trying to sell whatever she stole. Emma's face paled. That can't be right. It is. Now be honest. Has Meredith asked you anything about me since discovering who I am? Has she suggested using your relationship with me somehow? Emma's silence told me everything. What did she say? Emma swallowed hard. She suggested I keep seeing you, that I could find out information about your next product launch. And you agreed? No. I told her she was being ridiculous and unethical. We had a huge fight this morning. Can you prove any of this? Emma pulled out her phone and showed me texts from that morning. Meredith, just get him talking about work. Find out about the Q4 launch. Could set us up for life. Emma, I'm not using him. This conversation is over, Meredith. Don't be stupid. Men like him use people all the time. He lied to you. Emma, so that justifies me lying to him? No, I'm not doing it. And if you contact any more tech companies, I'm going to Louis directly. The timestamp was 7:43 a.m. before I had called Marcus. She's been acting strange ever since Richard fired her, Emma said quietly. I thought it was just the breakup, but now, for the first time since discovering the connection to Blackridge, I believed her. We need to find out exactly what information Meredith has, I said, and who she's been contacting. I can't betray Meredith like that, Emma protested as we walked back toward her building. She's clearly in a bad place. Emma, this isn't just about hurt feelings. Corporate espionage is a federal crime. If Meredith is selling confidential information, she could face serious jail time. Let me talk to her first, Emma insisted, so she can destroy evidence. No, we need to handle this properly. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling my legal team. Wait. Emma placed her hand on my arm. At least let me be there when you confront her. In Emma's apartment, we found Meredith typing frantically on her laptop. She looked up, startled. Emma, what is he doing here? Her eyes darted to her computer screen. We need to talk, Meredith, Emma said gently, about what you've been doing since Richard fired you. Meredith's face hardened. I don't know what you're talking about. We know you were fired for accessing files about Vitara Tech, I said directly. And that you've been contacting our competitors? Prove it, she challenged, but her voice trembled. My security team has logs of the emails you sent to GlobalSoft, Terra Nova, and Microdynamics, I bluffed, all offering valuable competitive intelligence for the right price. Meredith's expression faltered. Richard was using me the whole time, taking credit for my work. Then he threw me away like garbage. So this is revenge against him? Emma asked. It's what I deserve. Meredith's composure cracked. 2 years of my life I gave that man. By stealing from his competitors, I asked. By doing what he asked me to do. When I found something good, he took the credit. When I couldn't deliver, he berated me. She laughed bitterly. The final straw? I discovered his affair by accessing his calendar. He fired me before I could expose him. That doesn't justify selling corporate secrets, I pointed out. What choice did I have? He blacklisted me. Emma stepped forward. Meredith, this isn't you. This vindictive person, this isn't my friend. The friend you know is broke and unemployable thanks to Richard, Meredith snapped. And now I have a chance to make things right, but you're too self-righteous to help. By dragging me into corporate espionage? Emma's voice rose. Meredith turned to me. I have information that could save your company millions. Information about Blackridge's plans to undermine your new security protocol launch. I'm not interested in buying stolen information. Then consider it a gift. A show of good faith. She reached for her laptop. Stop. I held up my hand. Whatever you're going to show me, don't. You're making a mistake, Meredith insisted. Richard is planning something big against Vitara. Then I'll deal with it legitimately. I took out my phone. Right now, we need to address what you've already done. You're going to have me arrested? Her voice quavered. That depends on you. If you cooperate fully, turn over everything you've taken, admit what you've shared and with whom, my legal team can work with prosecutors to minimize charges. And if I don't, then I report this to the FBI without any recommendation for leniency. Meredith looked to Emma, who stood firm beside me. Em, you're choosing him over me after everything? I'm choosing what's right, Emma said sadly. Please, Mayor, take the offer. The fight seemed to drain out of Meredith. Fine, I'll cooperate. 3 hours later, my legal team had documented everything and taken custody of Meredith's devices. She signed a full confession detailing her actions. What happens now? Emma asked as we watched the lawyers leave with Meredith. She'll avoid the worst penalties because she cooperated, but her career in corporate America is effectively over. And Richard, he drove her to this. My team found evidence that he instructed her to gather competitor intelligence using questionable methods. He won't escape consequences either. Emma leaned against the counter, exhausted. I still can't believe any of this happened. I'm sorry I doubted you, I said quietly. When I realized your connection to Blackridge, I assumed the worst. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you about Meredith's suggestion immediately. She looked up at me. Where does this leave us? That depends. How do you feel about dating a CEO who no longer has to pretend to be a barista? A small smile formed on her lips. I like the barista. Will the CEO still make me coffee sometimes? Anytime you want. I moved closer. Though I should warn you, dating me comes with complications. Like what? Security concerns, media attention, people who will question your motives. Emma considered this. Will you always trust me even when people whisper doubts? After what we've just been through, absolutely. Then I think we can handle it. She reached for my hand. But Louis, no more lies, no more tests. Deal. I squeezed her hand. Though I'll miss that Honda, the cup holder was perfect for my coffee. Emma laughed. I'm sure your Mercedes has decent cup holders too. We'll find out tomorrow. Breakfast at my place, I make a mean avocado toast. It's a date, she agreed. A real one this time. As I left Emma's apartment that night, I couldn't help but reflect on how my wealth test had revealed something far more valuable than I'd expected. Not just a woman who didn't care about my money, but someone with the integrity to do what was right, even when it was difficult.